My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Darkest Dungeon 2, where we are making our way into the darkness to light it up with our candles of hope.
Beyond the reach of this tenebrous malignity.
Of course, once we should light this up with candles of hope, we are going to get some more tools for our next run. First things first, let's get some trinkets.
Tools of iron. Such implements will serve us well.
Oh, okay, so this is like the fishmonger's gloves, but the blight version of it. We saw the fishmonger's gloves in the last run on the Jester Mr. Gibberish. Apply on hit. If noxious item is equipped, 1/3 chance to apply a blight. If a noxious item is equipped, it also gives extra resistance piercing for blight, but on miss, possibly applies blight to the self. Ooh, okay, trinkets now cost 2. Good to see, things have started to upgrade their cost. Let's get a couple more. The Curing Cuppa. Hey, this is also a noxious item! Neat! Apply on hit 1/3 of the time, blight. If your HP is over 75%, plus 50% to blight resistance. I could see this being a really, good starting trinket selection for a Plague Doctor to do a lot of blight to the enemy backline. Because you're hitting 2 targets at once, so you have the opportunity to
recall a thing,
activate that multiple times a turn.
once more.
In the Shroud, we get plus 15 damage from that Stagecoach item. One more Stagecoach item, please.
A drop of sanity in a sea of madness.
Blueprint Tubes. Plus 1 quantity to the produced items from the Stagecoach. I'm gonna go one more. I want a luxury Stagecoach item here.
New instruments will help us diagnose the world's affliction and overcome it.
Last, instead we get the Hoarder Signal Decoder. Plus 100% to Hoarder Scouting Location, and they give double the amount of trinkets to offer.
Every twinkling recollection is another implement at our disposal.
Interesting. When hit, we have a 5% chance to remove a disease. Also gives debuff resistance piercing, and if the flame is too high, slows down the character. Not certain who's exactly gonna want to hold that. The Skeleton's Sight. An indelible trinket. Gain on resistance, -2 to stress. Okay, I'm getting some more ideas about what might be this party. Let's take one more trinket.
A welcome advancement in the science of survival.
The Thrilling Tablet. In the science of survival? Are you sure? This is only good if heroes are dead. Plus 100% damage per missing hero and plus 100% max HP per missing hero. Interesting.
Memory is the hearth that warms the mind.
Arriving at hospital, arriving at inn. I almost just want to go for the Foresight immediately. Invest 30 candles in order to get plus 5 to 5%, that is, to location and route scouting, as well as arriving at any inn gives a free random inn item, and arriving at the hospital gives plus 10% HP, as well as -1 to stress. I'm definitely going to do at least until respite.
A welcome reprieve from the rigors of academia. The salted air and steady surf lulled us into a deep, restorative sleep.
I really do like the idea of trying to run some sort of, resolution and then resolution for plus 6% to death blow resistance. What's this roll? I'm purged of beauty, empty of all but blight. A roll that revels in divesting others of their burdens. Toxic state gains new effects. Interesting. I mean, I'd like to look at that path at some point. Maybe not immediately. Maybe not immediately. The storage room key indelible trinket for the Plague Doctor is only in 5. On target, ounce of prevention skills give also a block, neat, and emboldening vapor skills give 2 regen. However, battlefield medicine gives -50% to healing given, right? So more proactive rather than reactive healing. The physician path is interesting, but I am committing to blight in this run certainly, so I don't think that's going to be the way that we're going to want to roll out. I've also got to think about the run that's ahead of us, right? So there's the Exemplar, which really made pretty quick work of us, unfortunately. So I think Plague Doctor makes a huge amount of sense given the trinkets that we've just got access to for the upcoming run. I think the Man-at-Arms makes a huge amount of sense because it gives us the defensive ability that we really need to be able to push through these kinds of situations, as well as the ability to bellow at the enemy and in doing so remove their riposte. What else? Who else comes out on this trip? Well, we didn't have... I felt like we had enough backline damage last time, realistically. It's just a lot of it was missing, unfortunately. Especially after... Was it the Occultist that died? No, it wasn't the Occultist that died. We had one of our ranged characters, maybe a Grave Robber, die in the middle of that run as well, which was a lot of our ranged potential disappearing. I don't know. I'm reluctant to just upgrade the Flagellant here. You know, the Bounty Hunter needs more abilities. That's something the Bounty Hunter definitely needs. I'm honestly not beyond just investing a bunch here into the Bounty Hunter.
The true splendor of a world. Those who live within it.
In fact, having now done that,
The more they have to hold on to, the harder they will fight.
let's go get 2 in items and make our way into the run. 2 targets get a 5% chance at round start to get a strength token until the next in. Pretty neat. Hey, whiskey barrel for the whole party. 2/3 chance to increase their relationship with one another. 1/3 chance to severely decrease it. But the severe increase is higher than the severe decrease, and more likely.
More into the maelstrom, in search of what hope yet remains.
I have hope. I've hope aplenty, Wayne. I'm brimming with hope. I'm overflowing. At the end of yesterday, I was like, oh man. Oh, that run. Oh, it really, it got me. Oh no.
Or be consumed by
I
them.
legitimately, I feared for a second after losing to the Exemplar. Oh no. Am I discouraged? Is that the feeling I'm feeling right now? Because I didn't want to immediately record another episode
Circles
afterwards.
were drawn carefully in chalk, and salt was laid upon the floor. This was not research, it was ritual, and I could not stifle my repulsion.
Like the ancestor would ever engage in ritual.
Crossroads. Who will step forward into the light?
Yeah, I was worried that I was discouraged. And no, it just turns out I'd taken it personally, and I needed to wake up the next day to go, ooh, I can't wait to play Darkest Dungeon again. Oh, no! We've got the yips, but we're also thick-blooded. The yips. At round start, a 15% chance to become blinded. That is really tough. It might actually kill the idea of taking the Flagellant out with us. Okay, first off, hard-skinned. Oh, at combat start, you just get 2 block tokens, Paracelsus. Neat. You're a curmudgeon, though. That's fine. Why don't you stand there?
Indiscriminate science stains the surgeon's hands.
Off guard for the Grave Robber at combat start, be dazed. It's really important the Grave Robber is capable of using her huge damage on turn 1. I do not think that works. At combat start, 50% chance to become shrouded. And if the torch is low, we do 10% extra damage on Dismas the Highwayman there. Slow-handed on Barristan. Barristan's already quite slow. And also a 5% chance to just stun on melee hit. Neat.
Pride.
Ah!
More devastating than the horrors of 100 campaigns.
The Hellion is offering to do the exact same thing. Interesting. Having a quick look at the other abilities here, just seeing whether or not any of those is especially relevant. Not necessarily especially. Okay, so I know these are 2 pretty key elements to my party. What do I know about the Exemplar that I'm really gonna have to deal with? So the Exemplar summons additional units. After 2 rounds, I think it is, those units die. However, those units, especially like altars and you know, the cherubs, I believe their name is, have the ability to defend themselves quite effectively. unless you can nullify their dodge or block tokens, it's pretty difficult to actually remove that character before the enemy manages to spike it. However, when the enemy spikes their own character, they get the riposte. So as long as I clear out the riposte, I only have to deal with the regen they get from killing their own character. When they kill their own character, they get, I believe, 6 regen for 3 rounds. That's 18 damage. Effectively, I would just need to invest 18 damage into the main character, the Exemplar, in order to kind of even that out. One thing I think I also ran into some difficulty with last time was the fact that we had the ability to blight characters, but we did not have the ability to bleed until we had the Jester. And as a result, there were a lot of encounters where I was not capable of really rolling DOTs on the enemies. That said, that was a DOT heavy party. What if I didn't do a DOT heavy party? Like, I am looking quite strongly here at the Hellion. Another Slugger, plus 5% crit.
There is emptiness and shame.
As well as the chance to stun. We've got her entire path unlocked as well, so we can even just throw Howling End in there. Raucous Revelry as well, just in case I really need some more stress reduction, though this party already has some stress reduction, reasonable stress reduction, I would say. Having a look at her paths, she's not going to be in rank 1. Yeah. So Berserker, negative 20% max HP on our Hellion here, however, plus 10% to death blow resistance and extra bleed resistance piercing. Bleed causing skills also get plus 10% to crit. Okay. Let's have a look at this path. So I would obviously have to drop Iron Swan. I have to keep If It Bleeds. Let's have a look at Breakthrough for a second here. Position 3. Or, sorry, 3, anything except for position 1 on our side, anything except for the enemy's back as well. Ignores guard and removes guard. Also rushes us forward. On its upgrade, it also gives the character the inability to gain block for 2 rounds. Well, that's actually pretty impactful. Howling End upgrades to have a lower cooldown and significantly higher damage. I want to run some winding in this party, but I also don't really want to run bleed out. Although it is a lot of bleed. Adrenaline Rush is a good self-recovery tool here. 3 turns of gain on attack heal 20% is also really, really powerful. Allows her to stay very aggressive while being on low HP. I think Adrenaline Rush definitely gets ticked on. Toe-to-toe doesn't make that much sense to me when I'm using the Man-at-Arms here. So I'm going to tick on the Howling End just to give myself another large damage move. Doesn't have a huge amount of range, unfortunately. So yeah, we've got the Hellion, and without Iron Swan, we're not really capable of targeting the backline with her. We're not really capable of targeting the backline with Barristan at all. We are capable of targeting the backline with the Plague Doctor, however, in a way that is not necessarily reliable in the Plague Grenade. So I need one more character that can hit the enemy backline. So Jester is right out. Can't take Jester. What about a line 3 flag? No, line 3 Flagellant doesn't have access to Acid Rain. Oh no. Oh, that would be a problem. I would have access to Necrosis though. Oh no, we lose out on Sepsis as well? Okay, let's just, for the sake of it, I want to have a quick look at what skills we can really have access to. So I'd have access to Punish. I wouldn't have Acid Rain, but I would have Necrosis. That doesn't feel right. No, I don't think this can be the Flagellant as much as I desperately want this to be the Flagellant. What about a... What about a, not a PBS? Sharp Shot, yeah. I don't have Grape Shot Blast unlocked yet, but I would love to get it unlocked. Yeah, what about a Highwayman? Kind of traditional at the moment, but we upgrade Take Aim and we have the ability to just pistol shot the backlines. Currently we've got Duelist Advance here. I don't really care about a melee skill, so I could drop that theoretically. Yeah, I guess. I don't really want him, but he might be the best I have right now.
Harried, a fugitive seeking to outpace the past.
The only other thing I can think of is the Occultist. Well, hang on, what if it is the Occultist? Extra healing given from being a ritualist. Extra cursing to the enemies. Being able to curse the enemies, you know, in a couple different ways has been very, very useful. I have no way to blind enemies in this party at all. Binding Shadows, Malediction. I really do want to get some more abilities on my Occultist, though. Weakening Curse does have the ability to remove a crit token, as well as give double weak after its upgrade. Double weak is pretty big. Vulnerability Hex in order to increase the damage that's dealt. And that seems actually less significant. You know what? No, I'm gonna run this. I want to get Grape Shot Blast, and I want to have access to Grape Shot Blast for some AoE in this run. We're doing this party. It's only 17 minutes in, and we've finally decided what we're gonna do. It's okay. I don't really take it personally at all. I don't take it personally when I do things anymore. I'm really working on that. I really think it's a problem. Nekohime is our man-at-arms. Rawson is our Helgen. Someone named Sean? Ah, no, it doesn't have space. Highway Sean. Wait, hang on. That'll actually fit. Highway Sean. There we go. Had to malform it, unfortunately, due to the space. Paracelsus, you are, however, Sorathil. Seems quite fitting. Also, Paracelsus, you've not picked up... there you go. Your Blight Resistance Piercing, thank you muchly. And the Bulwark line for the Crush and Riposte skills, as well as a shield attack. Stand Fast. Stand Fast double taunting is pretty sick. I don't really set up much combo tokens on targets, so I'm not really going to be able to stun often off the back of that. I do like Rampart, but I just like all of the other abilities in the Man-at-Arms significantly more. Alright, I think that's our party. Let's get out there.
The time for denial has passed.
Exactly. Denial was the first chapter. We are far past that at this point. There we've got our Curing Cuppa, the noxious item, and the Poison Ring, which only gives its bonuses if we also have a noxious item, which we do. Yay! As for the rest of these... I mean, I would love the resistances to be on someone who has resistances, but no one really has resistances. Neko, I guess you are typically targeted. Extra HP per dead hero. Lower speed at high torch. That's probably not really good for us right now. Did I get combat items? Nope. All's well then, we've done everything we can.
Trumpets are exhausted. Ahead, only trial and tribulation.
Okay, so Neko wants to use Crush 2 times in a single fight, so I'm going to try and do that right now. Because I probably will... Wow, this is surprisingly surprisingly potent early fight here. I'm going to take aim, get ready to crit later. Blade grenade. Blighted one of them for 4, one of them for 3. How dare you cut me? Okay, that Widow will only ever get 1 turn. So I'm going to start working on the Woodsman and let that Widow take, yeah, a gruesome reflection action there.
Incremental, but deadly all the same.
Alright, both Widows down. 2 crushes used on Nekohime there. Even more bleed for the big guy. And sure, we'll keep lighting them up too. You're more than welcome to fell the tree, buddy. It's really not going to change anything. Love a good 4 to 8 damage range and doing 4. Let's actually roll Defender, try and make sure that if this guy gets another attack off, it's not particularly gruesome. Down on Death's Door is weakened, is, while doing a critical, still at least striking against a target that's well defended while weak. Not much damage dealt. That'll probably all be healed by the time we get to the end, I have to imagine. Also, not really that fussed about
and resupply await you.
the stress we have on our characters. They're both below 4, which means they're still getting positive relationship interactions if they had one before we got back here. And also, we have some whiskey to feed them.
Rest tonight. Under the mountain's unblinking gaze.
All right, everyone, glug, glug, glug. Unfortunately, Sorathil is a curmudgeon, and as a result, would not drink with us. Damn! That's really unfortunate when you've got one character who won't drink with you, because it takes the amount of interactions significantly down. It's like 1, 2, 3, rather than 7, 6, 6. Let's get our 2 damage characters to have that buff. Soothing Poultice, maybe for Neko. Are we about to...
Everywhere in ruin.
Oh.
Everywhere in need.
Okay, so the Fater, negative 100% to Hoarders, right? So, assuming from I assume from this, that means there's no Hoarders in the location. Also, anti-commerce. Avoid the Hoarder in order to finish the mission. It gives us 3 Candles of Hope, but realistically, Candles of Hope are already coming along for the ride. I don't need extra ones like this. The Sprawl. Extra Hoarder location scouting and extra Hoarders. We also have Exterminate, Visit a Creature Den. I do like visiting creatures dens. And Greater Anchoring Charm, the Indelible Trinket, for extra movement and stun resist. It's worth noting
Fair, but fairly priced.
that our frontliner in Nekohime is unmovable already, courtesy of the Sergeant Hero path. So I could definitely see something else, someone else perhaps holding this. Maybe Rawsome for a period of time. Although Rawson's really going to want to focus on damage trinkets after a period. The Soothing Poultice for Neko seems very appropriate if we end up going into the Sprawl, as the Sprawl does have a lot of bleed and burning.
One learns quickly when survival demands it.
Interesting. What do I need to prioritize? So stress recovery is important, but our best stress recovery tools are Raucous Revelry for negative stress on the Hellion when the Hellion is particularly stressed, and also negative stress on allies if possible. Or Bellow. Sorry, not Bellow, Bolster. Bolster's upgrade. If it bleeds, upgrades its damage potential pretty severely. From 2 bleed to 4 bleed. Although it's also worth noting, Take Aim's upgrade would make Sean significantly better at taking out enemy backliners. I think Take Aim definitely needs to be upgraded. And I think the other one needs to be a pure damage ability as well. Maybe it's if it bleeds. Actually, I could see this possibly being a party that tries to take out the librarian in the first area. I'm gonna upgrade if it bleeds.
Your coach must be maintained if it is to carry you where you must go.
Neither of these areas is the Shroud, the Almanac. I will go to the Provisioner, and yeah, I'm picking up the Radiant Flame. I don't relish doing that consistently, but
worth the cost.
I clearly haven't done it consistently. I've given it the ability to level up ridiculously instead. Let's go to the Wainwright. Yes, yes, yes. And the back card.
It cannot fight, but perhaps it can calm.
Double trinket selection to the Hoarder should be a little bit helpful here as well. Let's have a look at the Provisioner before we head out. Extra max HP on characters is pretty neat. Chance to move them. How go our worst relationships? So it's Sean and Neko are unfriendly.
Something to ease the rigors of the road.
Gonna take 2 ablative powders as well in anticipation of the next area. Let's also take some smoke bombs. And then I'm thinking I could actually just go for stale bread on every character. Like if I intend to actually go for the yeah, I'm gonna do it. If I intend to go for the librarian, this makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna get you back above having an unfriendly status with one another, as that could have been a pretty big problem. Let's put the ablative powders on the sharp shot, who can act fast enough to actually utilize them. Sergeant, you need the soothing poultice. And Sorathil, you will take the smoke bombs for blinding enemies. Alright. Selecting our route to be the Sprawl.
Burn. All that beauty and knowledge. Ash on the wind.
Let's head out. Yeah, it makes sense there's no relationships here. I'm just glad there's not a negative one.
Behold, the great cities of man, ruined and aflame.
I don't really want to go to the right side here and lose one armor as well as one wheel so quickly. I prefer to go directly ahead to the Hoarder rather than left to the Hoarder. Sorry, right to the Hoarder. Left could also be a Hoarder, we don't know. Oh, okay. Hang on. Well, yeah, as long as I get a combat encounter before I get another loathing, then this path was basically free.
He struggles to decide what is real, holding back fits of laughter and tears.
So a lot of these could be useful for an upcoming fight as well. The milk-soaked linen giving us the ability to remove blindness from targets on our field in particular. Bandages also seem like they'd be really good. Just in the long run, not necessarily in the upcoming fight. Greater Heartseeker gives plus 10% to crit chance. Also greater heat shields. Greater Wolf's Blood. Extra speed. It's difficult. I do want extra speed, but the Alchemist doesn't really have the ability to hold it. Before every location, chance to produce flapjacks. I do like flapjacks. I'm not guaranteed to run into another Hoarder this way. Sorry, not this way, but this area. I do want to go to that creature's den. Unfortunately, it's a lot of Oblivion. I'm not guaranteed to run into another Hoarder, but I'm pretty likely to possibly not run into another Hoarder. That skull. Turn start. If first in turn order. 2/3 chance to gain a crit token. That'd be really good right now. 10% extra crit chance. So that would just give 20% crit chance to the Hellion. I am leaning mostly towards just plus 10% crit. Which I take. I get an achievement called Whale. Let's take the milk-soaked linens and move on. Also, Rawsome, you're doing, plus 10% crit on bleed-causing skills. So this is Slugger and Wicked Hack give us 10. 10 from Berserk, if it bleeds gives 10 by itself, Slugger gives another 5, so 15, 25 from Berserker, and then 35. So a third of the time we're critting with if it bleeds. And if we crit with the bleed skill, not only will it do as much damage as it's capable of doing, it will also bleed for 5 rounds. Super impactful. Let's go. I'm gonna go over to the right so I have the opportunity to select a different path in the future if I need it. Rather than just being on a barrel line towards another Hoarder. Very glad here to see that we have a combat encounter coming up that doesn't have loathing directly tied to it. So I'm actually gonna have the ability to reduce our loathing a little bit before I then take a path that increases our loathing ridiculously. That was a bleeding poultice, I believe. Clotting poultice, rather. It's the opposite of a bleeding poultice. Oh, you're bleeding. Let's give you an anticoagulant. Sorry, a what? I'm trying to clot. Neko, we came here willingly. Let us begin. Alright, some bravery, love to see it. Hastened enemies for the enemies here. They are all very fast. Rudely so.
By accumulation.
I'm gonna quickly take some aim here. Get ready to start critting characters. Ooh! I mean, if we get to dodge an enemy's ability and then also crit them in response, what a bounty. Damn, we actually got the curing cuppa noxious application here to Sacrificial, who now dies before they can get to the front of the party. It's not possible for them not to. Never mind, I have a 40% chance to crit, apparently. And here I thought I was wallowing down on 35. I'm gonna yell at you all.
Cunning.
Try and buy myself some time to act faster.
Early results
Nice.
are encouraging.
Early results are indeed encouraging
The
here.
enemy weakens and wanes.
I've only got one target on the field that's going to be surviving, and they are blinded. Unfortunately, they also did connect their ability there. When I say only one that's going to be surviving, it's because the Sacrificial is already dead. Courtesy of the blight on them. But I'll make it official. Neat. Double trinkets, a little bit of
The
bauble.
loathing abates.
Definitely going to the watchtower here. Everyone wants to go that way. Well, save Rawson, who doesn't have an opinion on the matter. Oh, not a huge fan of the fact that I'm picking up Oblivion here. Again at the Creature's Den. Again immediately after the Creature's Den. Uh-oh.
The fog is parted. Our way is made clear.
Got a battle ahead, Hero Shrine, another Hero Shrine. Neat, okay. So there's no more Oblivion before the end, which is actually very handy.
Push forward.
We're gonna clear some more before
Lamentably,
the rampart, or rather at the rampart, and we get 2 Hero Shrines here, so I should have the ability to get my point-blank shot. Point-blank shot, never mind. I have point-blank shot. I should have my ability, instead, though, to get my Grape Shot Blast. Which I would love.
Excellent work.
Just cracking off a crit immediately? Wild. I'm gonna leave that crack shot for... Actually, no. I was about to say I was gonna leave that crack shot for our Hellion to take out, but the Hellion also has a powered up if it bleeds and a high crit chance. I think they're probably better... better utilized in a damage dealing scenario here. Oh, a howling end for
They
the
falter.
21 and crit.
Press your advance.
I mean, this character's dead, so I'm just going to try and remove a bleed and see if that causes a positive relationship interaction. It does not. Death blow. See, nothing to worry about here for a bit. Unfortunately, it also looks like the lair is, yeah, mutually exclusive to the path that I started taking. So, oh well. I did bring a lot of resources here and make everyone quite powerful so I would have the ability to take a risk like the lair, but that's okay. We're still doing a Creature's Den. That'll have to be good enough for me. There we go. I'm gonna remove all the dodge tokens from that backliner. Just much prefer to try and guarantee these blights. Ooh. Didn't really manage to do much of anything there to us. Solid crit, 20 damage bleed over the next 5 turns. Can't possibly be mad at that. I was actually hoping to miss there. But never mind, I don't need to. Daze the enemy to prevent them from acting early here. Howling End for 12 damage to the enemy front line. Well, the Plague Grenade confirms the kills on both of the backliners.
Results are encouraging.
The enemy gets 1 munch out
Crisis. We can rely only upon each other.
before they have to watch all of their allies die. All right, I forgot about that, but hey, that was actually the ideal time to transition the enemies there, as it turns out. Solid crit as well. Oh boy, the DOTs. Enemies' debuff resist is relatively low, so I'm going to try and slow them all down to buy myself the ability to get a bunch more DOTs on these characters before their turns. Only 4 damage on the enemy backline. It's not exactly what I was hoping for. Yeah, unfortunately we're in the position where all of the enemies have 2 turns worth of value left. Which is a lot more than I wanted. I'm gonna roll a defender on Highwayman here. Just try and reduce some of the incoming damage if possible. Oh, we resisted a bleed, and in doing so, reduced the stress off of Nekohime. Can't stop critting. Love that Heartseeker. Oh, dang. Still have to hit that Carrion Eater again in order to actually get it dead.
The fiend's strength dwindles.
Now, I'll roll Defender again. Try and keep the damage on 1 target here. Battlefield Medicine will respond much better to that. Glad we haven't gotten a disease yet. I've been hit a lot of times by these enemies, and they are disease givers. Oh, I can't stop critting. I don't think you're below half HP. No, you're exactly 1 HP above being below half HP at the moment, Neko.
The enemy weakens and wanes.
Although I believe, there we go, the poison charge will take you over the line. Get the enemy down to death's door, so as soon as they get their turn, they should die. Yep, as soon as their turn begins, they'll die.
Cooperation is the key.
Bellow at him. Tell him exactly what I think of him. Crit another corpse. Wow, we actually got some stress reduction critting that corpse. Enemy dies, the DOT, and we managed to get out of that battle significantly better in terms of our stress than when we went in. Peculiar Secretion removes diseases from the party and gives us +2 mastery. 2 mastery at this point is huge.
Abates.
We visited a creature's den, so I also get my Anchoring Charm. That's also pretty good. I'm quite pleased. I'm quite pleased about a lot of this. Yeah, sure, we didn't get to go to the lair, but that's like the only thing that hasn't gone our way so far. Oh, a -2 relationship interaction between Sorathil and Highway Sean. Gonna have to repair their relationship over maybe a little bit of pipe weed. Maybe some mead, maybe some wine, maybe some lembas bread. We've got the echoes of the past here. Got to try and teach this old dog new tricks.
Chapter 3. One last job. He was sick and starving, and in desperation, offered his expertise to an unscrupulous malefactor. Shackled once more to an unsavory task by an advance of gold, he lined his belly, girded himself, and prepared for one final heist.
Unfortunately, knowing the backstory of the Highwayman, I'm not very keen to play the next mission, which, if I recall correctly, is robbing and accidentally killing our wife? Highway robbery. Never mind, there is another hero's shrine after this, so I still have the opportunity to get Grape Shot Blast. Highway robbery. From any of the back 3 positions on our side to any of the front 3 positions on the enemy side requires that the target has a positive cooldown, positive token rather, ignores their dodge, and on target removes 2 positive tokens. That's pretty relevant. Do we get to have them on the upgrade? Still 2 positive. Oh, that is really relevant. Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. Okay, I'm gonna tag that on. A quick look at. Yep, it's just our relationships that are giving us the exclamation marks on our characters, telling us there's something new there to look at. There isn't. It's just relationship triggers. I get those.
Look ahead. A place to reflect, remember, and reconcile.
Time for another roadway battle with these hail enemies. Unfortunately, they'll have extra resistances. I'm gonna take some aim. They had to play the Song of Shadows if they wanted to have a single chance of not... oh, wow.
Malaise, measured and steady.
Huh. Well. Did I still play Grenade that backline? I'm blinding gas that backline. There we go. I want to see if that blindness actually saves us from this.
Emboldened.
I know it's only a 50% chance to do so, but it'd be cool if it did. Be cooler if you did. I'm gonna slow down the enemies with the Bellow.
A brilliant conclusion.
Sure, I might as well crit you. That was from a blind target against a target that had dodge. So I don't know if that's still only a 50% chance to hit, or if it's a 25% chance to hit, but if it's a 25% chance to hit, how dare you? Why? I don't want to... You know, something to that effect. Yeah, I knew the tree was coming. Tree doesn't stay away for that long. Okay, the woodsman's definitely going down to the ground here.
Lethality writ large.
Alright, and that should prevent any more actions that I really need to care about. This guy's on the ground, he's weakened, he's only able to hit 2 targets that are quite well defended. Swing! Party's doing okay.
Cut down these nightmares and blaze the trail to your redemption.
Maybe we should have a quick look at our Hellion Rawsome here. Nope, I have Adrenaline Rush tagged on you. Okay, we're all good. I just wanted to make sure that I had Adrenaline Rush tagged so I had some self-recovery. Just in case everything else goes completely wrong. Do I maybe want to consider Bloodlust? Would give us the ability to remove our Howling End debuff. It's actually not that bad. It allows us to use Howling End in the middle of the fight. Barbaric Yorb is also really good in the middle of the fight as well. I think Bloodlust is better for, like, large enemies and large foes, maybe? One more Shrine of Reflection. Alright, I was desperate. I had to, says Sean.
Chapter 4. Highway Robbery. The stagecoach arrived, and he set himself to the business of bloodshed and robbery.
Yeah, we'll do some duels advancing. Let's have a look at our other skills. So from the back 3 positions, we can duels advance. Moves us forward 3, removes stealth, as well as gives us a dodge. Then Wicked Slice is from the front 2 positions, the enemy front 2 positions for damage. There's Aimed Blast from the front 2 positions to any of the enemy positions, including the back line, the Stagecoach. And into the bushes, the ability to stealth and go very far back. Ooh, get dodged. I just slightly maneuvered. Carrot's calls for reinforcements here. I think it's possible the Treasury Guards might not have the ability to even hit our position. If we're in the back, that is. So I'm thinking... Actually... This is difficult. Because it would take both of my actions to kill both of the Treasury Guards every single round. And though I could do it, I would never deal damage to the Stagecoach. So it feels like if I ever want to be able to deal damage to the Stagecoach, I have to accept a couple of hits from Treasury. So I'll use an Aimed Blast on the Stagecoach. Get desperately slashed at. Oh, okay, if I accept only one of these hits... Oh, no, that didn't kill. I thought it was guaranteed. I was about to say, we can guarantee that the enemy does reinforcements for only one. Oh, no! Gave actual block tokens to him, how dare you. Think. I think I'm okay to just continue fighting. Reinforcements, you replace one of them. There you go. Take a shot against the vehicle again. Then I will roll into the bushes. We'll go to the very back, I'll gain stealth. The enemies will protect themselves and then try and strike, but I'm stealthed. So they say, come out and die. In order to move forward, I have to use the duels to advance. Desperate Slash does manage to connect to us, how dare you. Aimed Blast hits the wagon, we're gonna get struck. And I just need to take a single action next round before hitting the wagon. Right? Guess I don't know that that taking out that wagon is the end of the mission. And it is. Cool. It was the only thing that made sense to me.
He fulfilled his
He got it!
obligations with exceptional lethality,
Oh.
but his grim satisfaction would prove short-lived.
You kidding me? Grape Shot Blast is weaker, significantly weaker. Doesn't hit the enemy front 3 positions, it hits their front 2. Why? Yikes. I mean, it's still good. I'm just not enthused at all about it now. Oh, man. I guess I'm glad I have it unlocked. Sean, you've still got 2 more skills. Yeah, 1 more chapter. It's also worth noting that Sean does have, as a result of Sharp Shot, after using Grape Shot Blast, they give themselves a strength token. So that's really big. That still matters a huge amount. Alrighty then, time for Oblivion. Or the rampart thereof. Yep, pretty typical. I could use highway robbery here to remove both of the tokens from the altar. No. No, I don't want to do that. Because it's got 2 block tokens, a block and a block plus. The highway robbery would remove both of them, but would also cost me the access to remove those in the first place. Whereas if I just rolled Grape Shot Blast, I would remove each of the block plus tokens and then just leave the block 50%. The block basic token to get dealt with by our plague. Because the altar does need to die first. Herald second, but altar first. This also gives me the Grape Shot Blast strength token. Worthwhile. And now there's no block tokens on the altar by the time we get to If It Bleeds, so I can roll that directly. Unfortunately, it did significantly less damage than I was hoping for. So we're doing 8 damage there, so I need to do 5 with a single crush. That's pretty likely, actually. Woo! Altar's dead. Whoop, whoop. Woo! Got him! I'm gonna quickly take some aim here on Sean. You're not the right person to be hitting the enemy frontline target.
The enemy weakens and wanes.
Sorathil is, though. Oh, there's that crit token. I guess I can use highway robbery on that. Worst comes to worst. Or I guess I could just roll Defender on the second line target. I should defend Rawsome Neko. Seems appropriate. Oh, the resists! The resists! Get him! Unfortunately, I have to waste my damage token on that wicked hack. $16 damage direct to the enemy, the Herald in the backline. 15 damage direct to the Evangelist, put it down on the ground. Ooh, that's pretty important as well.
Lethality writ
No, I need to be able to
large.
remove that target. Oh, ridiculous. We actually managed to connect that bleed.
Dwindles.
And the hit, which means that, there we go. Both of the backliners are now dealt with. Blood Commune, only for 5 damage and 2 stress there. Yeah, it's not really going to be a problem for us, buddy. I'm going to bellow at you. Try and make you much slower than the rest of us for our DOT's sake.
Excellent work.
Love to see a crit like that. Getting down on death. What? I masterfully contracted syphilis by striking the enemy. What?
Analysis is the natural prelude to action.
I don't understand that at all. How'd I get syphilis from killing the enemy? What?
Potency still lingers in some of these well-worn relics.
On turn start, 15% chance to become, to dodge rather, and on miss, 15% chance to become blinded. It's also the Dark Impulse for extra blight resistance. Let's drop that on the person who needs to resist things in order to de-stress. Man. Syphilis. So at combat start, we have a 15% chance to gain either weakness, vulnerability, or a 7% chance to gain blindness, and in general, we just have 25% less max HP. Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that to be the thing
A
that we have.
fortifying meal, a strong drink, and finally, rest.
I would very much like it if I went to this inn and they just had the inn item immediately given to us that removes a disease. I don't want to have this disease, buddy. Never mind, actually. We've got an inn item for playing cards. Although, Sorathil, you're still a curmudgeon, aren't you? You're gonna not play cards. Ugh.
The fire is lit.
Yep.
The table is set. The inn awaits its favorite guests.
Sorathil is thin-blooded. However, you also do have additional blight resistance, so that doesn't really matter at all. Highway Sean is boisterous. Loud and proud, negative 5% to positive relationship chance. Rawsome is devout rather, committed to a higher power than themselves, and Neko is a fanatic fearer. Oh, the syphilis was immediately cured by the peculiar secretion, hell yeah! I'm so glad to see it! Until the next inn versus Gaunt, we do plus 20% damage. Which of these locations has the most Gaunts? Greater Anchoring Charm, glad to see it. Alright. Let's have a look at the provisional.
Conventional fare, but fairly priced.
There's a hail draft in here. Extra disease resistance.
Each improvement, a new variable in the equation of your fate.
Oh, interesting. So, healing ways in the Tangle. Plus 100% to field hospital location scouting and 200% extra field hospitals. The field hospitals, if nothing else, will give us a 10% heal to all of our characters, as well as -1 stress to all of them. On top of that, if I take in the appropriate amount of money, I can start removing all of these negatives that we've built up over time. Sorathil's curmudgeon has become a huge problem. It's stopping a lot of our relationship gains. Boisterous is also probably a bit annoying. Slow-handed doesn't really affect the Man-at-Arms that much. got 5 mastery to spend as well. And we do have the almanac for going to the shroud.
Everywhere in ruin. Everywhere in need.
So the shroud is loathsome, has plus 100% to oblivion tears. As long as we visit an oasis, we would be able to pick up 3 candles of hope. It just doesn't seem great. How are we for hitting the enemy backline? Really, 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 really not good enough. Like, Sorathil can do it every round. Plague Grenade or Blinding Gas. Neko, you can do it once a round. Sorry, this is for the sake of the sleeping
The hunter waits, brooding beneath his cowl.
Interesting. I don't think the Bounty Hunter has any abilities at the moment that hit both of the enemy backlines every turn. The reason I'm yammering on so much about that is because if I wanted to kill the Sleeping General, which I think otherwise this party would actually be really quite well prepared for, the backline, the enemy backline has to be hit twice a round, so Plague Grenade is a really good way to get part of that done. But then, other than that, I would have to be directly targeting it from any other character in order to hit it. And that would just be a huge waste.
One learns quickly when survival demands it.
We do have 5 abilities to upgrade here, which is incredibly impactful. So, Sean, you should upgrade Grape Shot Blast, because you are going to be running that consistently, as well as Pistol Shot consistently. In fact, both of those should be upgraded. Done. Highway Robbery is actually also pretty cool. I'm going to reset you before I move on. Yeah, Sorathil. Your Plague Grenade getting upgraded seems extremely appropriate. Neko, your bolster as well. We're going to the shroud, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of bleed there as well as blight. I could use a clotting poultice to try and stop some of that bleed. Does anyone have strictly negative relationships? Yeah, there's 2 strictly negative relationships in our party at the moment that both require a little bit of whiskey to get over. Sora, it's you and everyone except Rawson. That works. I'm gonna save the playing cards until I manage to clear Curmudgeon. Tangle is Blight and Bleed as well. I don't know why. I'm thinking of going to the Shroud, I think exclusively because we have the plus 15% damage there. Which, like, is good, but I also don't want to go to the lair. Well, actually. With the Anchoring Charm on Rawson and Neko having the move resist path, maybe we actually could take out the Leviathan early. Legitimately. I think we could totally do that. Hellion can't use Howling End without the ability to immediately move forward afterwards as well by at least one space. Like toe to toe. I legitimately believe I could take out the Leviathan now. So I'm gonna plan around it. We're going to the Shroud.
The barnacled timbers of the coastal villages are sodden with salt and secrets.
For the Leviathan... I mean, Pistol Shot definitely needs an upgrade. I want the upgrade for Grape Shot Blast as well, but that's not particularly good for the Leviathan. The Noxious Blast is. Billow's good for outside of that fight. I'm just going to take damage. I'm going to use damage to try and solve all of my problems.
Repaired and refurbished. Ready for the leagues ahead.
I really wish I could set that to just be the name by default. The Republic art there, and also this is Reginald II. And I think this is a party. I'm going to buy some playing cards and some stale bread. The stale bread is for Rawsome to increase their health, and the playing cards are not going to get used until I have removed Curmudgeon from Sorathil, so that I can just dump a bunch of party relationship on them at the same time. So let's rest for the night, and then head out to the next area. Of course, heading out to the next area seems an appropriate thing to do in the next episode, so until then, my name's been Rhapsody, the name of the game has been Darkest Dungeon 2. Top left is the series playlist for all my content of the game, past, present, and future. YouTube recommendation down below, stream past are the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/Rhapsody Plays at above the third tier. And a special thanks this episode to John. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we see you all next time.